Hi, friends and golfers. Erik Schjolberg, EJS Golf. So, 10 positions. This is something Golf Machine, Mac McGrady um, talked about positions or swing. There's 10 positions. If you're a student of mine, I'll send them to you. If you're not, I'm sure you may know of them. So, why are these important? To me, they're important because they're checkpoints, okay? The other thing that's big to understand about them are they're a moment in time, okay? So, they're passing, okay? So, we can't have a huge focus on just one position. But here's the thing, we can have a focus, if this makes sense, of using it for checkpoints, okay? Otherwise, how do we know how to train our brain? So remember, this whole game of golf is training our mind to what we're trying to do. Otherwise, how is it ever going to work? So what happens in golf, we have this period for about 2 to 3 years when people start that they improve just on their own typically, okay, to some level, whatever that is. Some get better than others, some get a little bit better, whatever that level is, just athletically they get better. So the problem is usually during that time, they're ingraining such bad motor patterns that they hit the ceiling at whatever that 2 to 3 year time is, okay? And then they're done. They just usually never improve after that unless they intercede themselves with some kind of coach that's going to help them get through it or whatever. But you've already laid the groundwork for these motor patterns that make it hard to get out of it at that point. So I've always been a huge proponent, and this is one thing I hear a lot of times is somebody will call me and say, "Hey, Erik, I heard you're a coach, whatever. I'd want to get some help." And I tell them, "Okay, sure, that'd be great." And they hear what I cost, like, "Oh no, I don't need that. I just need somebody, that doesn't teach good people, or I'm just a beginner." And I don't say this to them, but the truth is, you need a really good coach at the beginning. It's like laying the foundation of your swing. So if you can lay this good foundation, think about how much less work you're gonna have to do your whole life to make changes. Most golfers are working on making changes for life, where if you start at the beginning, it'd be building. You'd be building into this progression of what you want. So if there's anybody brand new and thinking about it, I take that advice. You will save yourself huge headaches. All you have to do is ask other golfers about it. Okay. So let's try to understand a few of these checkpoints. I can't go into complete detail right now, and I don't have hours to go into exact numbers of turns and all that. But if you look at other videos of mine, you'll see I do talk about stuff. So I'm going to go through these rather quickly. Position one is just the setup. Okay, now, like I said, I'm not going to go everything about the setup right here because you can find other videos of mine where I talk about tilt here. I talk about how the shoulders should be. Talk about a good way to get in this form. Okay, so we just call this position one. Okay. Next one is position two. Okay, you'll find out how these kind of work. It's a lot of them are either when the club gets parallel to the ground or my arm gets parallel to the ground. Okay, so the next checkpoint is P2. That's when the club gets parallel to the ground right here. Now at this point, we want this thing going down. See how I have this parallel to my target line? Target line with this outside orange line. So I've gotten here. The club is right now parallel. I call it going down to center field. Okay, so I'm right about there. Now we're going to go to P3 where arm now is parallel, right? Now this is where it's important at that point where there can be some variation in this, right? Okay, but if we're looking at this here, we want to have this thing pointed, I would say about a yard kind of outside the ball. Okay, some people will be at the ball, that's fine, and here you're in trouble, and here you're in trouble. So it's just some kind of line. If we had a line going straight back from the ball, I would say have it somewhere, with pretty close to the range of the ball. About, somewhere, mine's gonna be pointed probably about out here along this line. Okay. Because if you get too steep, which would be this steep, look how I am right here, then I'm in trouble with what I'm gonna do from there. I have to make more compensations. So we're P3, which is left arm parallel, and however high you can go up. I can't go up much higher to P4, so I'm P4, right? Now, once again, we're gonna come down to P5. What do we have? Parallel arm again. Now, look at this club here. This would be steep, but P5 is really important because what have I done? This club head is behind my hands. If you say, "Where are you looking, Erik?" I'm looking behind I'm looking in the mirror. Because right here, this is where we want to get the mass of the club behind our hands. And that's one of the big points I'm going to get into this here. So what happens to a lot of people, they go like this. They're starting to get the club early outside their hands. We want the mass of it behind. So now in parallel, 5. P6. Now this is a big one here. So now P6, I'll show you this from front too. I've got my hands in front of my thigh, okay? And I got this club head kind of turned down, matching my back. But notice where it is. It's behind my hands, okay? It's not out here. Think about if I swing down to here, where I'm here. What do I have to do to go to the ball? I'm dead, okay? But I come here and This is behind my hands. So P6, P7 is impact, okay? Then we go through P8 right there. 9 is gonna be that arm, 10 is gonna be finish. I mostly wanted to focus on the start down to P7, so one to basically 7. So these are important because here's the thing that I teach the golfers, my golfers, is that these are checkpoints built in to help you figure out your swing. Okay, so I try to get them to do these moves very, very slowly because we can learn so much from it. Okay, we can learn that if I go like this, look at my body, it hasn't even turned yet. So somebody who practices like that with their arms, then they go for the swing, they turn their body, look where they're at. So that's the point though. So if I'm one that did that, and I'm like, I have no idea what I'm doing wrong. Well, you should be able to, because you should go, okay, I'm gonna stop myself and look here. Oh, I'm off. I should be here. Okay, so P3, I get arms parallel. I'm here. Well, what's wrong? Well, it's pretty simple. I'm not pointed here. Okay, so these are checkpoints to make sure we're somewhere in the realm of that. Okay, now we can't swing exactly. You know, in the golf swing, we don't want to be thinking exactly of, hey, I got to go 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. You know, we can't do that. Okay, that's why there's called, when we're practicing, we'll talk about this too, but there's called internal and external. So let's say I am one that I'm working on, you know, like a lot of my students, I have them working on getting to a good P6 position. Okay, so let's say they get here and they get to here, okay, which is right there. I have a lot of them working on that. So if you, because in my mind, if you can get to here, so I'm turned pretty good already too, the swing's almost over. We've gotten to such a good position. We're already fluid. We're already moving. The shoulders are getting open. Hips already open. All we do is just keep turning. And if we're in that good position by that point, it's pretty much over. Like most people are going to have a good shot. Internal is thinking, I can go through, let's say I have my practice swing, and I'm really working on getting to, you know, let's say a good P2. I can think about that, okay? Then I go, okay, here's my practice swing. I'm going to make sure I get to 3. I'm going to come down, make 6, 7. That's my thought. Okay, now, when I get to the ball, I'm going to switch to an external thought, okay? Meaning something away from me. And for me, what I teach a lot is thinking of, because so many people hit behind the ball and they have this thing in their mind of hitting the golf ball instead of swinging. So I try to change the thought of swinging to a point well in front of the ball, which makes sense if we know about what low point is supposed to be, which we would try to get down, try to land in front of the ball. If we can land in front of the ball, we have a really good chance of hitting this thing really good. So when we step up to it, all we should really be thinking is about, how do I land in front of the ball? And you can hear from that, I had great impact conditions. So you can just tell by the sound that was good. So checkpoints, they're huge. Okay, so this little club is going to look kind of funny, but let me just show you this a little bit. So if I'm here, I know it'll be a little hard to see this here, but if I'm here, right, there's 2. So there is some body turn, right? I like doing it with just left arm to feel this first part, because I want to keep this connected to, for me, my chest through here. So that, why? Because it's helping my turn my chest. Starting to get some, I'm starting to get some tilt down like this at that point. And talking about the shoulders are really big. Watch some of my other videos where I talk about what percent we should be at the top, leaning down, and some of my great tracer drills, which are just great for this, okay? So I like to think of this here, that's getting a P2, which is good. 3, which I'm pointing here now, somewhere at the ball to outside the ball a little bit. I'm not even going to go up to 4. I'm going to crop down to P6, which is right here. So this is why I see so much. People are out here. It's because they cast it. They're going like this. So look how far away they are from their thigh. So this is the person that comes in like this. Hands behind the ball, impact. They'll never have this impact when you're back here, because you can't. There's no way you could come in like that. You'd slide so much. So if I can get like this, look at what my impact can look like. And that's what we want, isn't it? Hands ahead, club face is nice and square, and then I just keep rotating, okay? So let me know if you want. I have a little chart I can send everybody with, it has 3 different views of the person, so you can see each position and kind of see it. So these are checkpoints, folks, to help you get better. When you're out playing golf and you're like, I have no idea what I'm doing wrong. Well, watch my other video where I start with first analyzing impact conditions, right? And then after that, you may want to check, because here's the thing, folks, and I say this all the time. You know, you're never going to wake up tomorrow and have my issues, okay? your issues are always going to be yours, and they're going to keep creeping back on you, okay? So if you know that you do something, okay, that you're sure it's right, not something that you just told yourself, like picking your head up or something that is completely impossible and wrong, and a myth, which I find a lot of people that come to me are living on myths. But as long as you're not, and you've got a problem that's been diagnosed correctly, and you start playing bad golf, guess what? There's a good chance you've gone right back to that. Pay attention to it. Pay attention to those little things like alignment. Because if I'm playing really good golf, my alignment's really good, okay? And next thing I know, like I'm like this, guess what? Oh, my golf game, I don't know what happened to it. I was playing so well. Well, now I'm aimed really left. Think about the adjustments I have to make to get this ball online versus here. It's way different. The thing is, you'll just creep to it. So you won't notice right away until it gets real bad and then your game's gone downhill. Because if I'm getting here and I have to come in way back from here like this, well, then I'm going to start hitting behind it, just the way low point works. When I'm swinging way too inside out, just too many changes will happen. So hope this helps, folks. I know it will. It should. If you have any questions, leave a question. Subscribe to the channel. It'd be great. Erik Schjolberg, EJS Golf. Thank you.